Here are 2 motion effects that will level up your editing in a matter of minutes, so let's get right into it. The first effect is called corner pin, and you're basically able to enhance your zoom ins and zoom outs. So we'll begin by going to the effects panel and typing in this corner pin and dragging it right on top of our layer, and we're also going to grab a transform layer and drag that right on top of our layer. The first thing we're going to do is scroll down to our corner pin and transform effects, and in the transform layer click off this check mark and crank the shutter angle up to 360 to make it extra smooth. For now I'm just going to adjust the lower left in the corner pin, but you guys can play around with these other keyframes. So make sure your blue tracer's at the beginning of the animation and select a keyframe for the lower left, the position, and scale. Drag your blue tracer to about the 2-second mark. We can change this a little bit later. And then I'm just going to crank this corner pin up all the way until I want it about here. I'm just going to quickly adjust the transform effects too. I'm going to zoom in a bit and then also change the position so we can highlight this left side of the screen. Then just select all 6 of these keyframes, right click, go to temporal ease in, and right click, go to temporal and ease out. Open up each one of these keyframe layers, and we're going to make these keyframes extra smooth. So drag the lower left keyframes in a bit to create this little mountain face, and then we're going to want to align these keyframes with the other 2 keyframes. So I'm going to drag my blue tracer right into the middle of this circle, and we're going to change the keyframes in the position to the exact same thing, and also for the scale. Just avoid going up and down with the scale because it will impact the animation, so you can just press Ctrl Z to undo and retry until it's completely straight. Do the same for the second keyframes, align the blue tracer right in the middle, and just align the other 2 keyframes up so it's happening at the same time. And just like that, we've created a really dynamic zoom in. And then you can also add an additional keyframes to this animation to make it even more spectacular. And the second effect is called Basic 3D, which is going to let you enhance your object and photo animation. So here's how to do it. You're going to start off by going to the effects panel and typing in Basic 3D. Grab that and drag it onto your layer, and you're also going to grab a transform layer. Just drag that right on top as well. Now we're going to be adjusting the tilt in the Basic 3D. So we're going to start off by creating a keyframe for the tilt and also a keyframe for the position in the transform effect. Make sure you click off this check mark in the transform effect and crank the shutter angle up to 360. We're going to drag our blue tracer to the beginning of the animation, and we're going to crank up this tilt in the Basic 3D until your object does a full flip. Just like that. The next step is scrolling down to the transform layer and dragging this position all the way down until you can no longer see your object. Select all 4 of these keyframes. We're going to right click, go to temporal ease in, right click, temporal ease out. Go ahead and open up each one of these keyframes and drag in these position keyframes to make that little bit of a mountain. I'm going to grab my blue tracer and drag it right into the middle of this first keyframe circle, and we're going to do the same for the tilt. Make sure you don't go up and down with this keyframe because it will affect the animation. It does take a couple of tries to get it perfectly straight. And then do the same with the second keyframe. Match it up there and also match it up here. And just like that, you've enhanced your object's motion animation significantly. You can also get a little more creative with it. For instance, I added an additional Basic 3D and transform effect to this just to enhance the overall motion. Nonetheless, if you learned something new today, consider subscribing. And if you want to learn how to properly use keyframes in Premiere Pro, click this video. That's everything for me, guys. Peace out.